crippled and swearing, I'm sorry. Let us come not knowing which end to stay.
No, but the poor old Dennis lost you. I mean, he's legitimately out. Huh?
These men are enjoying their regular evening refreshment. There's nothing unusual in that, but this day in 1982 proved to be a day they all remembered. As the men tossed in their bobs for the round, they hit upon an idea. Why not make a small sacrifice each week and help a worthy charity? Why not a shilling? The next step was to call a meeting to discuss the best use for the money. The group voted that it should go to help the orthopedic section of the Children's Hospital. The name for the club was suggested by the Bobs in the subscription plan. And so was formed the Uncle Bob's Club. There's quite a distance between the Royal Children's Hospital in Carlton and the orthopedic section at Frankston. But thanks to the Uncle Bob's Club, the time for the journey is lessened considerably by the modern, well-equipped ambulance that they've provided. Young folk really enjoy their trip in an Uncle Bob's ambulance. Indeed, there are countless ex-patients who remember the ambulance drive and the wonderful treatment they received at the hospital. The friendliness of everyone here is probably the reason that kiddies respond so quickly. Or maybe it's the charm of the many buildings that comprise this orthopedic hospital. The Uncle Bob's Club have been able to build or equip a great many additions, including the nurses' home. And nowhere will you find nurses more devoted to patients or fonder of their work. Worship seems so natural in this delightful chapel. And the Uncle Bob's provided, too, the restful gardens that enhance this area. Well, now the new recruits probably want to see the inside of the hospital and find out just what the other patients are like. The children in the wards are just like any children, except, of course, that they aren't so mobile. But there's still activity to keep their minds, or mouths, busy. No matter where you look, there are happy faces to welcome you. Naturally, many parents feel anxiety for their children when they're first admitted, but they soon realize that the morale here at Frankston Orthopedic Hospital is of the highest standard, and the new friendships that arise help to make life away from home much more pleasant. Some patients are mere babies, too. These young children have a great deal of determination and willpower. They manage to maneuver their trolleys as easily as other kiddies handle their scooters. In fact, even more expertly, because they travel like this all the time. Just look at them go. Here at the hospital, education is not neglected. Even kindergarten is conducted successfully. Because of all the things to do, the kiddies really love it. Dollies do get dirty, don't they? This one's a little sleepy too, so a rest is a good idea. After all, it's been a big day for her. The entire occupational therapy wing was built by the Uncle Bob's Club. And here, a teacher demonstrates the art of working with plasticine. Doing things together makes for harmony, and there's certainly a happy, harmonious atmosphere here. Ever since he was a mere baby, this chap has been in hospital. With patience and faith, he has triumphed over his disability, and now he joins his family for the first time. And here is a girl now able to leave the hospital after a long period and return to the comfort of home and enjoy all the simple pleasures of life in the country. It would take more than plaster to keep these youngsters from the beach, but this lass is free from plaster now, and she wants to relax a little. After all, she's been unable to wear a frock until now, and a girl's first frock is a special occasion. Mum has made a fine choice. Many cases are difficult to treat, but spinal injuries are among the most difficult. But it's amazing what transformations have occurred when patients bear their burden cheerfully and have faith in the work of the doctors and nurses. There's never a dull moment at Frankston. There's always something interesting on the agenda. Many of the girls enjoy photography, and this is a very useful form of occupational therapy. It's quite likely that some of the girls will find this instruction a great asset later on. Photography and the developing of films is a very interesting hobby, and with the expert tuition these girls receive and their enthusiasm, it could well become a full-time profession. While the girls enjoy photography, let's scout around and see what the boys are up to. It seems scouting is popular with most boys, regardless of how they meet. And this is a special ceremony for members of the 4th Frankston Orthopedic Troupe. Everyone here is proud to wear the uniform. Even Spot is an active member. The junior members take part in the flag ceremony too. Lord Baden-Powell would be thrilled by the way these lads bear the banner of Scouthood, courageously and happily. Exercise is all important in healing work, and when you get down to it, it can be a lot of fun too. All boys love ball games, and these lads are no exception. Over at the rehabilitation hostel, games are in progress too. This group of teenagers are preparing themselves for their return to a normal and busy life. And by the looks of things, they'll make a good job of it too. The Uncle Bob's Club, in a gesture to encourage a teacher to live on the job, had this fine house built within the grounds of the hospital. A similar cottage was specially erected by the club for that essential officer, the engineer. Teacher's not affected by transport stoppages. He's just a few yards from the school. With surroundings as colourful as these, it's a pleasure to learn, and everyone tries very hard to learn all they can. The teachers at Frankston Orthopedic School are held in high esteem, and they instruct as far as matriculation too. Tempting, isn't it? You'd think they'd been doing this all their lives. The girls are eager to learn new recipes whenever they get the opportunity. Many happy hours are spent in the modern kitchen, and this is one form of occupational therapy that everyone agrees is most necessary, and a popular choice for the girls. Of course, decorating cakes is rather interesting too. There's never any problem engaging folk to sample the cooking. The boys have their chores too, but feeding the fowls is more like fun. The fowls are all for it anyway. Growing lads need feeding too, and at the hostel they get their fill. The Uncle Bob's Club contributes £2,500 annually towards the upkeep of this fine hostel. There's little time for idleness at Frankston. Somebody's always busy, and there's plenty of evidence here of the fine work done in so many different forms. patience is a great asset in working intricate designs, and in this respect, this lass is typical of all the people at Frankston Orthopedic Hospital. She is working well, but sometimes young eyes stray, and that ocean is picturesque. In fact, these lads are eager to get a closer look. They're not wasting any time either as they recklessly career down the slope. The dauntless attitude of the lads is amazing. All they have to guide them or protect themselves are their hands. But their reward is in the fun of the outing, and a look at the sea close up. It is rather inviting. Well, Spot's in. He doesn't wait to be asked, he just plunges straight in. And here comes another beach lover eager to join the bunch. This is a fine setting for the hospital. It's fairly evident that the beach is a great favourite with the lads. Just watching the water is refreshing enough. It's amazing how quickly the youngsters respond to occupational therapy and how soon results are achieved. Even when the weather is unsuitable for the beach, the kiddies can still have fun in the indoor swimming pool. Their trolleys, which can float quite easily, can be lowered into the pool. This is a great assistance in occupational therapy. Everyone at Frankston works hard to hasten recuperation, including the patients themselves, so they all deserve some quiet, lazy recreation. But it isn't long before the serenity is shattered and the pace returns. The lads are having a hurried wash and clean up, outdoor style. And if they seem happy about it, it's not surprising, for today is a special day for all the patients. Yes, the Uncle Bob's Club is visiting the hospital to help make it a gay Christmas for the youngsters. It's become a regular yearly event now, and every patient looks forward to this day. The Uncle Bobs work very hard to enable each child to receive a gift, and all costs are borne by the club. Attention is given to selecting suitable gifts for individual patients, and here the Ladies' Auxiliary of the Uncle Bob's Club plays an important part. There are toys to gladden the hearts of any children. As this is really the Uncle Bob's Christmas party, they may as well hop in and do their bit. Not that they haven't done plenty already. Now things are going with a swing, thanks to the colourful sound and spectacle of the pipe band. A popular bunch is the Firemen's Group. Lady Murdoch, President of the Royal Children's Hospital, and the Medical Superintendent are present naturally on this important occasion. And the patients here and at the parent hospital know only too well the wonderful work they've done. Some kiddies are too young to understand the great sacrifices made for them, but one thing is certain. They'll always remember the Uncle Bob's Christmas party and all those toys. This is in the form of a reunion, really, because this man was the very first patient here at the hospital many years ago. And in appreciation of the attention he received, he is now an Uncle Bob. Any of these children could be yours, but they'd be well looked after. The firemen enjoy attending the party so much that there's always a large response for volunteers. The men come from the Metropolitan Fire Brigade and the Country Fire Authority, Frankston Division. So that they can help the kiddies more directly, many firemen have become Uncle Bobs themselves. Often it's the simple little toys that amuse the youngsters. They can have many happy hours with these party playthings. Of course, a party's not complete without ice cream. And and it tastes even better from inside a big brass helmet. And someone who's done a great deal also for the kids is Jenny Howard. Like the clowns, she's entertained many children as well as adults, and is never too busy to assist any charity or worthy cause. A most appreciative audience. The older children of the hospital receive gifts that will come in handy in the near future. This man has made a hit here, and he's a typical Uncle Bob, an average man in an average job. Just as he directs the spirit of progress from his signal box, so he helps put many children on the right track to health. Most of the men have families of their own, and their work and home life leaves little spare time, but they manage to maintain a firm hold on both and still continue as Uncle Bobs. Another member at the party. But he's more at home with a lathe and some wood. The result of his labours is an expert finish. Quite a variety of occupations are represented, and here's a storeman on the job. And a dispatch clerk. There are Uncle Bobs in many walks of life. There are barristers, teachers, labourers, doctors and taxi drivers. It's obvious that Uncle Bobs love kiddies, and this retired man tends his roses with all the loving care he affords the children. Fruit growing is a full-time chore to this family man, and he's a very active member of the Goulburn Valley branch of the Uncle Bob's Club. The men of this large branch have done great work in raising money for the hospital. With finance from the club, children's wards of many provincial hospitals have been extended and modern equipment has been installed. The extent of this assistance is many thousands of pounds annually. The Christmas party at Frankston Orthopaedic Hospital is a long-awaited event in the lives of these youngsters, and they are so appreciative of the wonderful work done by the Uncle Bob's Club in organizing this day. The firemen, too, are a big hit with the kiddies. But the day must draw to a close, and all too soon. Where there was excitement before, there is peace now. The sun is setting, and the evening is nigh. Watchful eyes protect little sleepyheads in their slumber. Though they are well cared for, they still require a great deal of rest, because it's quite a strain on their bodies, even when they're still. But little minds are active yet, and doubtless thinking of the fun of the party and of their many friends and loved ones. The care here is equal to any hospital in the world. And nowhere will you experience a more colourful sunset. On looking back to that first meeting of the Uncle Bob's Club, it can be noted that much has been achieved in the years between. Times have changed since 1942. Prices have soared, and so has the cost of a drink. Today, membership has increased many times over, but most of the original members are still active. One large industrial concern has a membership in excess of 700, and it's growing continually. A large proportion of the annual proceeds comes from collection tins, placed in hotels, shops, clubs and other places where the public may see them and utilize them. The Ladies' Auxiliary plays a large part in the collection of the tins from the railway stations for some weeks at Easter time, when the annual Good Friday appeal is held. Campaigns are often motivated with motorists in mind, but there aren't many drivers who ignore the chance to help children less fortunate than their own. They are happy to contribute to a hospital which may one day help in the treatment of their child. When ticket sellers are so attractive, who could resist buying a ticket? That could be the reason raffles have been so successful. But then the prizes are worthwhile too. All the money that is raised or collected has to be counted naturally, and that's a big job. But many hands make light work, and counting is well underway here. With the money raised, the Uncle Bobs have been able to clear and prepare the Frankston Hospital sports ground, and the neighbouring workshop was built and fully equipped too by the club. Uralla Hospital extensions were another undertaking of theirs. £7,000 has been contributed for the improvement work on this gymnasium. The chapel at Frankston was furnished completely by the Uncle Bobs. Here are some architects' drawings showing the reception centre and hospital extension, another part of the programme of rebuilding provided by the Uncle Bobs. At the request of the hospital, the club has agreed to finance this fine reception centre and creche, which will cost £50,000. Previously, patients were x-rayed for 2 seconds. Now a new machine purchased by the Uncle Bob's Club has made it possible to x-ray in 1/10 of a second, reducing considerably the danger of exposure to radiation. The film is automatically self-developed. Research in well-equipped laboratories are essential for the progress of medicine. Until recently, it's been impossible to correct defects in a heart such as this hole. Consequently, the blood was pumped through an abnormal hole and didn't reach the lungs at all. To enable the doctors to work on the heart, it required a mechanism to carry on the normal functions of the heart and lungs. Research produced a modern marvel called the heart-lung machine, and this virtually becomes the heart and lungs whilst the isolated heart is being repaired. The Uncle Bob's Club had this equipment installed. As a tribute to the club, this, like many other undertakings, was named after a past president. People are aware nowadays of the necessity to have the most modern equipment in order to undertake critical operations, such as the hole in the heart. Apart from the nurses' home at Frankston, which cost £15,000, the Uncle Bob's Club has provided wards and other treatment facilities at a cost of many thousands of pounds yearly. A scholarship to the value of £2,000 is provided annually to enable doctors and other medical staff to travel overseas to study the latest developments. The doctors at the Royal Children's Hospital are now able to perform operations in a comfortable temperature, since the operating theatre was fully air-conditioned. All this life-saving equipment and all these facilities have been provided through funds raised by the Uncle Bob's Club. 1 shilling a week is not much, but when thousands of men donate 1 shilling weekly, it amounts to something really worthwhile. Already in excess of £250,000 has been raised since 1942, and there's still equipment to purchase. If you were to sacrifice 1 shilling a week and become an Uncle Bob, it would mean a great deal to those children of Victoria who need your help. Why don't you become an uncle to them for a bob?